are you ready for me to start letting parents in?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay, all right, hold on.
I'm hitting to see if it.
Okay, Ms. Stewart, because you're now the host, you have to let all the parents in.
Okay, all right, okay. Do you see the recording button though?
Yes, it's recording.
Okay.
Can you all hear me?
I can.
Okay, so we are recording. Once, Jordan, I'm gonna make you the host, and then I'm gonna admit people, and then you'll be able to admit people, and I'm gonna leave your meeting, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Are you the host now?
Thank you. I'm the host. I'm starting to add people.
Okay, let me in. What is it? Look at all these people. Oh, there's also Dr. Anita. I forgot about her. We're still waiting on some parents who don't have the link to get that to them. Roger needs the link resent. Okay, we still have parents asking for the link, so give us just a few minutes. We sure appreciate your patience with us today. This is all new to all of us.
All this is not chopped up. Look at that. There's nowhere near done, Sada. But if you can't do it, I'll do it. Just take it back downstairs, put it in the refrigerator.
I was doing it, but it wasn't like.
It will. I'll do it.
Is that what it is? Oh, USO2 Web Zoomers. You just sent it? Okay.
I can't have 2 links.
Give us just a few minutes. Folks are still trying to get the link. It was sent out earlier, so give us just a few minutes. Dr. Cleveland, are you in? He's not. Please send it to him. She's paid in full. Dr. Cleveland in yet?
I am in.
You are in, good. I think we've gotten a few more who've gotten in.
You would think after 40 Zoom meetings in a week, how it might have any issues, but I'm good to go now.
Okay, good, good. All right, we'll wait one more minute. Terry says there's still people who are trying to get in.
I want to make sure there's no people. Because I think, Roz, we can admit people in.
Okay, Jordan is over here at the other desk letting people in.
Okay, I just let a couple in just now also.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're getting a few more. All right, Dr. Cleveland, you go ahead and start. Welcome back for our 2020-2021 BMW for this year. We are excited, looking forward, as we've said previously. Even though we're in a pandemic, we're still going to have BMW one way or another. And we're excited about some new programs that we're going to be offering this year. So Dr. Cleveland, you want to go ahead and kind of do a follow-up from the presentation, and then we'll go into our program for the year.
Okay, I just wanted to just get some thoughts from you all. I guess we can probably do this. We'll try to unmute and let you all respond.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Cleveland, you muted yourself.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Because I didn't click anything, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So we're some thoughts about Dr. Bryant's presentation. Just a couple of takeaways that you all had from her comments. Anyone?
I like the part where she said you're raising someone's grandfather.
Oh, okay. All right.
She clarified a lot of the things that a lot of us have been thinking anyway. She just clarified it for us.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it fully with my sons. I have a freshman and a third grader, so to have them see that aspect and where we live in our community, you know, when someone asks a question, how's it when you're in a more predominantly white community or whatever, and don't have that? That was a good thing. I was glad to get that information.
Okay. Yeah, a couple other people share up.
That this is a topic that I talk to about my son a lot at home. And I feel like sometimes he just thinks that I'm making this stuff up. So I like that she had a presentation that he was able to see and that he was able to explain maybe a little bit and understand a little bit better than maybe what I talk about at home.
Okay.
Okay.
In reference to, Rosalie already talked about the schedule and some of the content we're going to share, but I would like to, since I do a lot of the curriculum on Saturday mornings, I would like to get some ideas from you all about the 5 areas that she discussed about protection and connection and affection. What are some areas you would like for us to address that's related to those 5 areas that she mentioned? So we can build on what she talked about this morning. There's some things you would like for us to, some kind of programming and content you would like for us to share for your sons on Saturdays?
When she spoke about the area of correction, I think it's important for our young boys, but just anybody, our daughters, to understand that correction is needed in order to progress, to go forward. Without that correction, you can just be chasing your tail. And I think that's something, that we may need to hone in on.
Okay.
And holding them accountable.
Yes.
Correction is a form of holding them accountable.
Yes. I think if we could work on them being able to express themselves without it coming off as like angry or aggressive. I think a lot of times when they are trying to express themselves, they don't have the proper tools or the proper wording to get their point across. And I think they're perceived as being very aggressive.
Both of those.
Okay. And one of the things that we are going to focus on and have more emphasis on is, I think, to Francine's point is doing a lot of stuff on social emotional learning and emotional intelligence, and be able to find the appropriate words to articulate themselves and how they're feeling. Sometimes when we fuss and fight is because we can't find the vocabulary to express ourselves. And so those are the things we result to. So emotional intelligence addresses some of those things. And as she also mentioned that a lot of time our young men do not know how to express themselves. And so we need to give them some tools to do that. And also they're perceived a certain way if they don't express themselves like other students. They're perceived a certain way and angry and things of that nature. So some emotional intelligence, and really emotional intelligence is really for anyone, not just for children, but and that's where our focus is. And the way our brains are developed is that we have 2 major parts of our brain. And the front part of the brain is the prefrontal lobe. And that's where we process information and make sense of things and reflect and things like that. And the back part of our brain is called the amygdala. And that's like fight or flight. Like when you see our boys just shut down sometimes and don't want to talk or whatever. Well, that's part of the amygdala, the back part of the brain, which is a good thing because it helps with our instincts and things like that. But when it comes to make sound judgments, you don't want to use what we call our fast brain, which is the back part of the brain. We want to use what I call our slow brain, which is the prefrontal lobe. The issue is the front part of our brain doesn't really fully develop until we're almost like 24 or 25 years old, which explains sometimes some of the things our boys do when they're 14, 15, and 16, because this part, the rationalization part, is not fully developed yet. And you going back downstairs and like, what is wrong with that boy? Well, part of it is science, okay? Part of it is how our brains have not developed. And so that's our fast brain is back here. And then our slow brains are, think about it as this way, your slow brain is almost like automatic. I mean, your fast brain is almost automatic. Have you ever driven home one day and you pulled into your driveway and you can't even realize how you got there? That's your fast brain working. It's on autopilot. Okay, it just happens just like this. And that part develops a little quicker than our slow brain. And our boys don't really process information and reflect on things as quickly And so we have to do some things on Saturdays to help them with emotional intelligence and social emotional learning. It's just as important as academics, because we want to work on the whole child at BMW, just not, you know, GPAs and ACT scores. Because if you have great ACT scores and great GPA, but you can't function emotionally and socially in society, what good is a 25 on the ACT? All right, so we want the whole child. So other areas you want us to focus on this year?
And Dr. Cleveland, let me share in an effort to help you, because you try to do so much in helping this area. We are going to bring on a couple of professional counselors this year. We've got some funding that is going to do some professional counseling with our boys. And if your son has experienced trauma, those kinds of things, let us know. But we're going to have some counseling sessions, maybe even some of them in small groups, you know, as long as they have the mask on and we do the social distancing. And so we are going to be able to offer some counseling to our boys and really do some in-depth things on that social and emotional learning. So we're excited about that.
Ms. A, will there be group breakouts, like if they've had like deaths in their family, that you can identify that and pair them? And thank you for that. I was going to ask about that because yesterday I saw with the Dak, the Super Bowl, the Cowboys super quarterback getting help that he needed, and they were targeting him. So our boys look at sports and they need to have an outlet to know that it's okay to express themselves. That's a part of identifying how I need to be healthy. So thank you all for that. That's going to be awesome for them to know that it's okay to get help when they need it.
Yeah.
And for us, we're just blessed that at this particular time we can offer the help. And I have to be transparent. This has been a tough couple of 2 or 3 weeks for us in BMW. I hadn't had time for me to actually express it in an email, but some of the things that I'm hoping to do this year as we proceed, I don't know if many of you all knew it or not, but one of the boys that was killed in that spree of about 2 weeks when we lost 4 African-American males to gun violence, one of them was a BMW. The one that was found over at Legends Field early in the morning, he was in our program. And we're not talking about it. This was a young man who finished his junior year with a 4.2 GPA. He was smart, he was gifted, but he was still in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it cost him his life. And it was tough for his classmates who've been in the program with him, who went to school with him, to try to minister to them. And that's when I was like, they need more than just what Dr. Cleveland and I are trying to do. They need some professional help. And so we were blessed to just get a grant that's going to allow us to do that, to help. And that's why I really want us to push this year, SOS. We've got to do all that we can to save our sons, because this young man, was in, as I said, and every time I text his mom, and you guys, it was tough. I had to do his eulogy, and you talking about tough, but I'm more determined than ever as a team, as our BMW board and team, that we're going to try to reach and try to touch as many young men as possible, because we're living in a day and a time where even as parents, that's why we're doing the parenting sessions. You got to know who they're with, when they're, who they're with, where they are. They say, I'm old enough now. No, you as parents, there's some, because the day and time we're living in, we've got to up our game in even our parenting skills. And so, we lost the BMW in that sequence of those young men that were killed. And right now, they still do not know what happened to this young man. But all I know is that 17-year-old has a mother who has cried herself to sleep for the last 2 weeks over the death of her son. And so that's why we got to create a brotherhood so that they hold each other accountable, or when they're somewhere they have no business being, If they don't want to call their parent, they can call, excuse me, they can call me or Dr. Cleveland. We'll come wherever they are to help them. So this is why we were blessed. We applied for a grant, got some funding that we can bring a professional in to help them, you know, especially through this trauma of all that's going on.
And that's, and you're right, Roz, that's actually one of my greater concerns this year is, you know, not academically. We know all our young men are very intelligent young men. We'll get them there where they need to be academically. My greatest concerns are the non-cognitive, the non-academic issues, particularly during this time. And someone mentioned in the chat that focus on some stuff on trauma-informed care, which is very true. Social emotional learning. I'm gonna bring a brother from Spalding University. His name is Dr. Stephen Niff. I'm gonna try to get him to do a parent session during the year on race-based trauma and how boys of color experience trauma a little different. And sometimes you gotta dip trauma-informed care in some chocolate so it can connect. And so he does a lot of that with parents and our young men. So and even with my kids are in college right now, but periodically, either I'll walk up to their room or you shoot them a text because sometimes they want to communicate through text, which is fine, and just check on them because we're going through a storm right now. And this storm is made up of COVID-19, racial injustice, and economic strain.
Right.
That's one big storm. But we're all situated differently in the storm. Some people are going through the storm and they're in ocean liners. And some people are going through the storm and they're in yachts. And some people are going through the storm in just regular boats. And some people are going through the storm in lifeboats. And then some people are in the storm in life preservers.
Right.
So, and this storm is impacting everybody in a different way. And we think about a lot of the adult issues, but think about all our kids right now going through school, and you have certain events and things like this you usually go through as a junior or senior, or you transition, matriculating from middle school to high school, or you're going into middle school, and usually all these different things. Usually in the summer, we have a middle school camp, right. our rising sixth graders. Right. You know, we did a little something different, a little virtually, but we didn't get to help our hands on them and things like that. So that's different. Some of you all have high schoolers, and you know, there's always something going on through freshman, senior year. That's different this year. So make sure that you just watch them from afar a little bit to see if their behavior is any different and things like that, because this could be traumatic for students also. We may not think that. We always think about death or something like that, but even just these different changes they're going through, like us, you know, some of us, the whole COVID-19 thing is really affecting us by the quarantines and all those things. So anxiety can impact people in different ways. So we're going to focus on a lot of that also, because we don't focus on that, they're not going to be able to focus on school, whether we're virtual or face-to-face. So any other things that you all think we would, you know, I saw trauma-informed care, violence in the community with our young men. Any other areas you think we should focus on this year, whether academically or non-academics, before Roz goes into the schedule?
Now, if you all think of anything throughout the year or something happens with your son, please let us know. As she talked about in her presentation, we are the village, and we want all of our young men to be successful. We will put the schedule on our website. We will not start until September, the 4th Saturday, I think it's the 25th in September, with our high school boys. Middle school will meet the 1st and 3rd Saturdays of the month, just like in the past, and high school will meet 2nd and 4th Saturdays of the month. And we will have a scheduled program just like we're doing now. And listen, parents, please know that attendance is most important. We have a new system now, and it spits out and tells us everybody who's here. So we will be able to, take their attendance, all of that. We can't help them or impact them if you don't have them, to attend. And so, make sure that they're on. We'll continue to go from 10, probably until about 12:30 or 1, no later than that. We will start our tutoring back in September with math, reading, I'm excited to say that for the juniors and seniors this year, we're going to have someone who's going to coach them in career planning and through scholarships, applications, and all of that. Now, let me go on record and say this now. I know you're seeing in the news that they're saying you don't have to have an ACT to get into college. That's true. But I had a meeting with UK this week, but here's what you got to remember. You can get in UK without an ACT score, but you won't get a scholarship. Scholarships are connected to the ACT score. So this is why it's still most important that our sons, especially, you know, our juniors and seniors, that we will continue with the ACT prep programs that we've had in the past. And we have a new person who has written a whole curriculum that we're going to introduce her, and she's going to do some things with the boys to work with them on ACT prep. So your sons are going around, yeah, I ain't got to have ACT no more. Shoot, they going to let me in. No, yeah, you can get in, but then you got to be prepared to pay $20,000 or $30,000 so that they can attend. They may give them $500 or $600, but those scholarships are still connected to those ACT scores. This year we are not, last year we did a $25 registration fee. We are not doing that this year. We're not doing that this year. Tutoring, if there's an area that your child is having a weakness, please let us know. We are adding a Spanish tutor this year since we're doing virtual. We'll still continue with language arts, with reading, with science, all the different ones, all the different, we will still have all of those different tutors, chemistry, but you have to let us know where they're not being successful, and we will try to get a tutor for them in each of those areas. Now, one thing I want to show you, look at this, you guys, we got our own mask. See, we got a BMW mask, okay? And so we hope all of you will support us, because we still got to have, you know, to run our program and those kind of things. And so we'll be putting out some information about that nice mask, since we're going to be wearing them for a while. Also, many of you have asked, we did a big program this past summer called Save Our Sons, which is our theme for this year. It was an awesome program where we looked at all of the young men who have been killed due to homicides or police violence or whatever. And we did all the way back from Emmett Till through to George Floyd. And so we had the young men did the speaking, they did the research. I was so proud of those young men. We are extending our program through college. We still try to keep up with all of our college young men. They came to us and said, hey, we want to do this program. And our college young men designed a shirt. This is it. On the front, it says, #educated, not incarcerated. Because our college BMW young men said, that's what we want the world to know, that we're going to be educated and not incarcerated. And then on the back, they've got the BMW emblem, no justice, no peace. And so we're getting ready to do another order. We've done 2 orders already, and several people have come back. So if you'd like to get one of these shirts, that will bless the program. The shirts are $20 and the masks are going to be $5. And so if you would, that would be a way of you helping us with BMW if you'd like to order one of those shirts and to get a mask. Trips, let me say something. I know many of you paid for the trips last year. As soon as this is over, we will be doing those trips. The one to Chicago, and of course the Egypt one is still on. And so those trips will be planned as soon as things start getting better. They're saying maybe the spring, even if we have to wait till next summer. And so your money has been securely put into a special account, and all of that is taken care of. So when we get the clearance that we can start back traveling again, we will immediately set the dates for the Chicago trip. And of course, the dates have already been scheduled for the Egypt trip. And we plan to do that next summer, okay? For those of you who have already taken care of that. Okay, Dr. Cleveland, anything else? We'll start September 26th with our high school boys. We will always send the link out to you prior to probably the Thursday before, so that they can get on the link, and then we'll send the schedule. We'll put, the itinerary for the day and all the things that we'll be doing. Dr. Cleveland, anything else?
Now that I can think of, I'm putting my my cell in the chat and my email address, you all. So if you can't get a hold of Roz, don't call me like y'all call Roz though.
They call me all hours of the day and night. Now,
Exactly.
someone has asked, how do you get the shirt in the mask? All you need to, once we put it on the, Jordan's gonna put the form out on the website. And so you'll be able to order them there. That website is gonna be our lifeline this year. And Jordan, one of our college BMW, he is our new webmaster, and I mean, he is on it. And so we are so appreciative for him and all that he's doing. Now, parents, I also need to remind you, if your son is ill or doesn't feel well, or if you're not feeling well, and we do have some kind of a small group or something here, do not send them if they're not feeling well at all. We can be our best advocate for keeping this coronavirus under control. Wear the mask. Please wash your hands. Remind your boys to wash their hands. We have seen the number of Black and brown people disproportionately dying of this virus. So we have to take care of one another, and we have to do all that we can to keep it from spreading, okay? So please, and I know Fayette County Public Schools is talking about going back in some kind of hybrid model in October. Some of the surrounding counties, they've already gone back. And so please, please make sure that you watch your son and everything, and if they're not feeling well. Somebody asked about, what about the new scholars who just switched over to middle school session for the trip? We have not, here's how we do the trips. The 6th grade usually take a trip by themselves. We have not scheduled that yet at all. And then 7th and 8th, we one together, and then we do put the grades together. So we will send out the information about the different trips.
Should be able to make it back.
Okay.
Period 12:30.
Any other questions? We're gonna try to be as normal as possible as we go through this, and we will send the tutoring schedule once we get all of that done, get all of our teachers in place. And we have purchased a system so that after we meet in a big group with the boys, then they can go off into their sessions and small groups and all that kind of thing. And so we can actually do classrooms and everything. Any questions, parents? Any questions? How has the virtual learning gone so far for your sons?
This is Jerome here. So far, so good. Both my kids are setting their alarm clocks and getting up and attending to their classes. So far, what I've been seeing, they have been doing very well, attending and getting up on time and being in their class virtually. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. You caused something for me to say. Parents, do not, now I repeat this, do not let them do school in their rooms or in their beds.
Yes.
They need to be as structured as possible. I've already had to make, last Monday, I did 4 home visits, okay? Because of young men not, tuning in and getting online when they were supposed to. And what I found out was their parents thought that they were online, thought they were doing the lessons, but it was because they were in their rooms with the door shut and they were falling back to sleep. So just like Mr. Johnson said, make them get up just like they would be getting up for school. Have them take a shower, get some breakfast. And if you don't have a place, go to the kitchen table or find a place where they can go to every day to get their lessons. Do not let them do it in their rooms. Go to the kitchen table, dining room table, but there's got to be some structure there so that there can be a routine that they do every day. And please, you need to check Canvas. You need to check all the things that you can do at school to make sure that they're turning in their assignments.
I actually downloaded the Canvas app and Infinite Campus app, and I love the school my son goes to, but nevertheless, it sends notifications when the teacher has graded his work, so I instantly know if he got 100% or if he got, didn't turn it in. So download it, and the technology teacher actually did a Zoom with me, and we set that up. So
okay, good.
There's a lot of good strategies that people are putting in the chat right now. And so if you get a chance, just peruse the chat right now, because they're putting there's a lot of good ideas parents are putting in there that we can share with each other. But definitely, we always have issues with students turning their homework. Nothing's different just because it's virtual. Don't have them sit there and do the assignments and then don't upload them or email them to the teachers. That, it's a futile process. You do the work and then not turn it in. So I think we think it's not going to happen just because it's virtual, but that we still not. And the other biggest thing is anything that's virtual, and I teach online, is time management.
Right.
And students think because they understand technology that online and virtual learning is easier, and that's not necessarily the case. Matter of fact, it can even be more difficult. And so you have to have time management. You have to turn things on time. And just like Jerome said, they have to get up, handle their business. Somebody said in the chat they have a camera, at work, and they check on their students and their kids, making sure they do the work and things of that nature. So don't let them slip on just because it's virtual and they think it's easier. To some degree, for some students, it's more difficult virtually versus the face-to-face. So.
Yeah. And I would suggest checking on him during the day too, because I've had to get on mine about some of him and his classmates are playing video games. So you gotta be mindful if you hear them, are they in class or are they socializing with their friends? Because sometimes they're not required to turn the camera on. So they may have other options available to them that they're not really focused or engaged in their classroom.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's why, you got to be eagle eye parents, during this time. One parent says that she has her son FaceTime her at work after, he's finished with every class or before he goes on it. So she makes sure that he gets on. And listen, several of you have expressed, we are as concerned as you are about our children not being in the classroom during this pandemic. That's why when we come out of this, we've got to really tighten up and make sure that no child is left behind because of this virtual learning. Okay.
Yeah.
And
we got to have some accelerated programs in the spring and definitely next summer.
Yes.
Because we got to be a realist that some students are not going to be as successful virtually as they would face-to-face and vice versa. So we know that some students, not because of their ability, just because of how the delivery of instruction, that we're going to do some accelerated programs in the spring and the summer to make sure when they start next fall 21, they're not behind. And so expect a lot of programs and support. And we're going to need you all to help us also, because we're going to look for patterns. So we have 125 middle schoolers, and 75 or 80 of you all are saying that this is an issue, whatever this is, time management or literacy, whatever it is, then that will drive some of our summer work for the entire group. And then we'll have some individual things for students who just need some individual support.
Xbox.
So you all will help us drive some of the programming for the late spring and the summer.
And if your son, we are going to set a date. All of our middle schoolers should have gotten the book Ghost, and the high schoolers are Long Home Down. Both of them are books by African-American authors. If your son did not get that book, you need to email us so we can get the book, because next, when we open up on Saturday the 26th, every 9th through 12th grader should have read that book. And so we're going to be discussing that book. And then on when we have our first middle school meeting, the first Saturday in October, the book they had was Ghost. If they've not gotten it, we paid for those books. And so we don't buy books for them just to sit on the shelf. We bought them so they could stay on top of things when it comes to reading. That's an area we've got to make sure that our young men are readers. And the reason why many of them don't score well on the ACT is because of it's not that they can't read, they read at such a slower pace, and they run out of time. But the more they read, the more proficient they will be at reading. So parents, please make sure they're reading something every day, all right? They need to be reading every day something. And if you didn't get that book, you need to email Mrs. Akins. And then we'll set a time. I'm usually here on Tuesday evenings, and we will make sure your son gets that book. But on the 20th, when we meet the 4th Saturday in September, we will be discussing that book, all right, for 9th through 12th graders. And we've given those books out several times. Yes.
Ms. Aiken, one of the concerns that came across my mind with a lot of the students, I'm just wondering for BMW, is there anything that we can do to help these kids to make sure they have internet access? Here at my house, I have no issues. So if there has to be that, parents wants to come over, we have to, arrange something. But if, if they need the Wi-Fi connection, it's available from my home. So
thank you.
I'm just wondering if we can do anything for through BMW to help them.
We have been in contact, especially if they're in Fayette County schools. They have purchased hotspots for those who don't have internet connection. And so they can get a hotspot. And we've been able to get some hotspots for about 3 or 4 young men in their homes. And so if you need a hotspot, you need to let us know so that we can work with Fayette County and the school that your child attends so they can get a hotspot. Yes.
Okay. All right, good.
Earlier, I know Spectrum was offering free internet to homes for families who couldn't afford it. I'm not sure if that program is still being offered, but I do recall in April when COVID-19 hit that was a program that was being offered by Spectrum.
Okay, all right, we will follow up with that. We will follow up. Where are my 6th graders? Who's on here? Your child is a 6th grader. All my 6th grade parents. Good. I need my 6th grade parents. Okay. Let me tell you about a partnership. I'm sorry you can't go back to the 6th grade, but this is something we're excited about that for our 6th grade students. This year, we have a partnership with the University of Kentucky, and they're starting a program called Black Men in White Coats. The number of African-American doctors in this country is declining. And so through a special program with Dr. Anita Fernander, who had a son who was in BMW and went to Carter G. Woodson, she has partnered with us, and we're going to work with the 6th graders in finding a cohort of them who may want to go to medical school. And this program, they're actually going to get a white coat and all of that. And so it's an awesome program, but they will follow these young men 6th through 12th grade, and then on into college and on into med school. And so we're excited about this program. And so I need all of the 6th grade parents to stay on so that Dr. Fernander can tell you and inform you about this program that we're starting with UK this year. There's going to be a big conference in the spring, all of those kinds of things. And so I need you to stay on. So does anyone in 7th through 12th grade have any last minute questions?
Ms. Akins, I have an announcement if I could.
Sure.
If any family is in need of any help or assistance, there's a partnership with the Catholic Action Center and the Lexington Fair Housing Corporation. They're trying to pair people with agencies to help them get their rent caught up. And so if anyone needs help, or if anyone knows of anyone that needs help, have them to submit an application at covidrenterhelp.org. Again, that's covidrenterhelp.org. And they can process the application and try to get them some assistance. And there's also the moratorium where there's evictions have been placed on hold for the most part until December 31st. They can go to the CDC website for the declaration for temporary halt and eviction and fill out that application to get that stopped until December the 31st. but you have to fill it out in order for it to apply. And you can submit it to your landlord so they can't move forward with any action on that.
Wonderful. Email me that, Monica, so we can put that. And so one of the things that Dr. Bryant talked about was culture and making sure our young men are proud of who they are. We're going to start putting some things on the website, some Black history facts. I'm going to be sending some inspirational things to you weekly. We've got to keep our young men motivated. We got to keep them inspired, and we got to keep you inspired. We got to all be inspired together. And so please start looking for that at the first of next week as I send the weekly emails and things to you. We appreciate all of you. So if you're in 7th through 12th grade, you can leave. But if you're in 6th grade, I need you to stay. All right? Thanks, you guys. And I'll inform you about the ACT and all of that when those classes will start.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
6th grade, stay on.
Thank you, Ms. Akins.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Have a nice day, Ms. Akins.
Yes, what? Oh, they're signing off. Give us a few minutes, Miss Anita, Dr. Anita.
Roz, am I able to share the screen now?
Is she able to share? Hold on, let me ask my tech folks. She wants to share the screen. This is Dr. Fernandez. Remember, she sent you the, oh, hold on. She says I'm the host.
You got it, Jordan.
Jordan's got it. Hold on, she's getting ready to. Okay, he says you should have access, Dr. Anita.
Okay.
It's a big green button, he said. You see it?
Yep.
He said you're sharing.
Great. Very good.
Here we go. All right. You guys, let me present to you Dr. Anita Fernandez. And she is, as I say, is just phenomenal. I'm so excited that she has selected BMW to partner in this new venture. And many of you may be having a doctor right in your own home. Raising one now. So she's going to, Dr. Anita, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Mrs. Akins. And I want to thank you for just allowing me just a few minutes to speak with you. And I was hoping that the students would be on too, but for the parents and guardians, I'm just going to share just a little bit of information for you just to introduce this program that we would like all BMW 6th graders to participate in. And it's called the Black Boys and Men in Medicine program, otherwise known as BAM. So just to provide you with just a little bit of background, the dearth of Black males applying to medical school and entering the field of medicine has been described as not only a crisis among Black men, but an American crisis of inequality as well. Black males are the sole major demographic group that has fewer representatives in medical school, as well as fewer practicing physicians than there were over 4 decades ago. While the number of Black female medical school graduates has increased by 53% since 1986, it's actually decreased 39% among Black men. Just to give you a few statistics, in 1978, there were 1,410 Black male applicants to and 542 Black male students in medical school. In 2014, there were just 1,337 Black male applicants and 515 Black male medical students. In addition, there's a predicted shortage of between 46,000 and 90,000 physicians by the year 2025. That's in 4 years' time. And as the demographics of our nation and in turn the patient population is changing, there is a critical need to provide greater access to care for our increasingly diverse populace. So we need Black male physicians to take care of not just our Black male patients, but all of our patients. So BAM is a mentorship pipeline program that's designed to help address the leaky pipeline in our educational system here in the US. And this fall, we are targeting 6th graders, but our future programming that we hope will be expanding next year will include all students through K through 12. The goals of BAM are to create awareness of medicine as a viable career for Black males, to provide Black male youth with exposure to the field of medicine through fun and engaging educational activities, provide resources and support for Black males who want to pursue medicine as a career through mentorship and role models, and provide Black male youth opportunities to participate in activities that will create a medical professional identity. So what is the program going to look like? Some of the benefits and activities that students will be involved in will include participating in an online mini medical school course once a quarter for 1 hour. That's all we're asking right now. Free registration to attend the Black Men in White Coats Youth Summit that's going to be held February 6th next year at Bracktown. We're hoping that COVID will allow us to hold it in person at that event. They'll also get to interact with a primary mentor once a quarter who will be a Black male college student. They will be able to interact with what we're calling a secondary mentor once a quarter. And this secondary mentor will either be a medical student, a medical resident who's a medical student who has graduated and still completing training, or an actual practicing physician. They'll also be asked to view a video or listen to a podcast of a Black male doctor. That'll be about just 10 to 12 minutes in length once a quarter. And because this is part of a research study, we want to really figure out what strategies and activities as far as programming actually works and what doesn't. So we're really doing this as part of a pilot research program. We're wanting them to answer surveys about their experience in the BAM program. We had planned more activities, but because of our COVID climate, all of the activities that we are asking them to participate in this fall will either be provided online or through social media. Some of the activities that will be required of parents of your 6th graders will include participation in How to Raise a Black Doctor book club, for which you will receive the book, How to Raise a Doctor, for free. We will also be asking you to complete surveys about you and your son's experience in the BAM program. And as a parent, we will be providing you with free registration to attend the Black Men in White Coats Youth Summit in February. And that's just my brief introduction, but I anticipate that some of you may have some questions about the program, and I'm happy to entertain that at this time. My email address is provided. You might want to jot that down. If you are interested, please just shoot me an email of your name and your son's name and your contact information, but we will also be sending out another query through BMW later on this month. We hope to get started in mid to late October with the actual programming events. But let me go ahead and kind of vet any questions that you may have at this time.
Anybody have any questions? This is an awesome opportunity. This is great. Anyone have any questions? Okay. Please make sure you send Dr. Anita your information. and your son's name, where he goes to school, and then Dr. Nita, I can tell you who was not on today, and then can you email me that presentation? And then
Sure,
that
I
way
can do
we can do that. We can get in the hands of the parents.
Actually, you already have it, Roz. I sent it to
Terry.
I believe so. I sent this to one individual yesterday, so you should
All right.
already have that.
Okay.
I also want to let parents know that your child at 6th grade may or may not see medicine as a future career, and you may or may not see medicine as a future career, but they're still going to glean benefits from participating in this program. So I would just say, encourage all of you to include all of your 6th graders in the program, because I just think it will be beneficial.
And that was a question a parent just asked, you know, what if they're not interested in being a doctor? They may not now, but you don't know, you know, being exposed and having these mentors, it may change their mind. And I know every time you ask the 6th grader, what do you want to be? Football player, basketball player, you know, they name all the sports.
Right.
What they want to be in sports. But the other night I was watching Don Lemon, and he interviewed a young man who had played in the NFL, but because it was being so bad on his body, he only played a couple of years, went to med school, and now he's a leading neurosurgeon at a hospital in Boston, Massachusetts. So we don't know, you know, what this might lead to or whatever. And they may not think they have a science, but just the exposure of this can do so much for them.
Right.
So we want as many of them exposed as possible. And listen, I'm gonna need a good doctor, because I'll be, you know, I'm gonna need somebody. I'm gonna need a good doctor who will make house calls, because I'll be old by the time they become a doctor. And so I'm gonna need somebody who's gonna say, I remember Miss Aiken, she took me on that trip to Nashville, and I'm gonna call and they gonna have to come see about me. So, and listen, don't ever underestimate the potential of your son. Don't ever underestimate. We don't know the potential that's in him and all that he can be, okay?
Yes,
So please.
Dr. Cleveland was talking about emotional intelligence earlier. You know, I tell my graduate students and medical students, you know what? You're not successful because you're intelligent. How you get through medical school and how you get through graduate school is really all about your work ethic and your structure. Many of the things that BMW is trying to instill in all of the boys, so that they will have really lifelong skills that cross every area of their lives. So it's not about intelligence. It's about work ethic and how hard a person is willing to work to reach their goals.
Yep. Any other questions? Let's see. A lot of parents have said they've already sent, a couple of parents said they've already emailed you their information.
Terrific. Excellent.
Good. All right, and I'll send this out as a reminder. Thank you, Dr. Anita. I appreciate all the parents.
Thank you so much, parents, too.
And next time,
have a great year.
Yes, and next time I hope that when we meet, we'll be able to meet in person, hopefully by February, Dr. Anita.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
All right,
Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, parents. We appreciate you. We'll be in touch. Have a great rest of the weekend.
This is boy. I have a question. Everybody can leave. It's just a personal question between you and I.